All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here to discuss about AEW Grandslam Australia 2026 for February 14, 2026 review. Now, this is more than anything, a free pay-per-view event on national broadcast television off of TNT for their Collision show, but this was not called Collision, it was called Grand Slam. I thought this show overall, wrestling-wise, was fun as shit. Very entertaining, very enjoyable content. Not too many matches were bad. Let's say a lot of them were very fun and enjoyable to sit through. I'd say maybe one match I didn't care for, and the rest of it was very good. The AEW Continental Championship. I picked Takeshita originally to win this match, and Jon Moxley ended up retaining his title through a time limit draw. So they decided to go to draw on this one. This match was good, and it only got 20 minutes worth. I never knew that they only get 20 minutes on championship matches. I thought it was 60 minutes for a championship match. And apparently they cut it down to 40 minutes less. Kind of odd to me, but whatever. The match was good, though. I wouldn't say the match was bad in any way, shape, or form. And Jon Moxley, he wasn't too happy about it. Even though he got to retain his title, he was very upset about it. I'd say this match gets a 3 out of 5 in my personal opinion. I don't even think this should have been the opener to the show. I think the AEW TNT title in the ladder match should have been the opener, or the World Championship, honestly. Then we had the AEW Women's World Champion, or Women's World Tag Team title match. The Babes of Wrath ended up defeating the Mega Bad with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I was very surprised they went with the Babes of Wrath. I thought maybe this was the appropriate time to change titles, but I guess they wanted to go with Harley Cameron getting that victory for her team. And this was not bad, but I didn't care for it so much. I'd say this was a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't that great. Personally, I thought it was average at best. Next, we had the AEW World Title number 1 contenders match with Adam Page and Andrade El Idolo. This was obvious. Adam Page was walking away with the victory. But the match was really good, very competitive. And I'd say this is a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very enjoyable matchup. I think this match was very fun for just being a normal average Joe match. It really wasn't all that bad, honestly. Next, we had a mixed tornado tag team match. I think this was technically no holds barred as well. I don't know. I don't think I saw any weapons or anything. But Orange Cassidy and Toni Storm end up winning this match by pinning Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta was humiliated. Only half of his head was shaved bald. The other half around his skull was left undone, so he looked like a Hulk Hogan wannabe with buzzed hair on top of his skull. And on top of that, he ends up losing his hair, and Jon Moxley forced him to get his hair shaved bald initially because he was refusing to do so, since he was the one that ate the pinfall. And Jon Moxley basically played the babyface of the group and convinced him otherwise to do so, to own up to the fact that he lost and has to, do the deed of getting his head shaved. So that was pretty much that. But I'd say this match was ratings-wise, I'd say this was 3 out of 5 stars, pretty average, but enjoyable. Next, we had Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship in a ladder match. This was the best match on the card. I'd say this is 4 out of 5 stars. And this was actually A really good match by Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. The ending was a little anticlimactic with the whole shove off the ladder instead of going on the outside of the ring. He landed on top of the ropes and was basically stunned for Kyle Fletcher to pick up the victory and walk away with the championship. All right, and the final matchup on the card was the main event for the AEW World Title with MJF and Brody King. This match was really good, but when you know full-heartedly that there was something makes no sense, Brody King ends up beating MJF by within less than 5 minutes to close out the match he had on Dynamite to earn a shot for the title, and then you have him this is so retarded. And then you have Brody King having to do this for 20 plus minutes. Match went 21 minutes for him to ultimately lose to MJF. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? This was a good match. You have to overlook the fact that, MJF, the world champion, was submitted in less than 5 minutes. I mean, that seems a little bit idiotic. We couldn't just had a normal match for Brody King and MJF the first time. It had to be an instant squash. I told you guys this. When this initially happened, what did I say? It is going to look absolutely ridiculous when they have this match take place in Australia in front of these people and they go about 15 to 20 minutes and MJF wins clean. Which he did. He didn't cheat. Didn't do nothing. Won the match clean. And the match went 20 plus minutes. Now, had they had Brody King end up winning this match in like 15 minutes in the main event of Dynamite, when he earned a shot for the title, this would have been okay. I would still disagree with the idea of making a champion lose to Brody King and then ultimately have him face Brody King for him to ultimately beat Brody King. That just seems so stupid. The whole thing from the get-go was a bad move by Tony Khan and Creative to go this route. This was terrible. Did we get a good match out of it? Yes. It was a great matchup, but logically, the way it came across, it looks horrendous. It looks stupid. And it's just kind of demoralizing, and that's why I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was a very entertaining matchup, but at the same time, it made Brody King look like a fucking loser, technically. To lose to a guy he was able to beat ultimately in 5 minutes, but the second go-round he can't. And then you set him up for failure on top of it, and MJF magically somehow figures out a way in less than 2 weeks to figure out how to beat Brody King without getting submitted in less than 5 minutes. Do you not see the issues here? It is absolutely absurd. And I don't agree with the direction they went with this, but there was a good match out of it. And I guess that's really the best way to look at it at this point. Because if you look at it any other way, it's just going to be a big, giant wad of negativity. But that's the truth. That's what this whole thing is. A big negative with a small positive. And that's all there is to it. So, at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.